It's a new procedure now. The league basically indicts a player now, and then there's a separate person that's saying, at the end of the day, it's still up to whatever the commissioner wants.
A few months ago, we made a video on how Deshaun Watson was acquitted of all criminal investigations and all criminal charges brought before him. And ultimately, the only thing that could have potentially ruined Deshaun Watson's season is based off of the NFL's investigation. They ended up giving him a severe punishment. And it seems like based off of some new things that have been coming up in regards to Deshaun Watson while testifying under oath, things are looking a little scary for Deshaun Watson. Now, before we get to this content, usually stuff like this that pertains to the Deshaun Watson trial and the Deshaun Watson case tends to get demonetized, which means YouTube won't push it out to a larger audience. And you could counteract that by just leaving a like on this video. On top of that, we're giving away $500 in total to a few of my followers on Twitter. Now that we get all that out of the way, break! As a person that does his best to stay health conscious, it's impossible to find good snacks out there. And the snacks that you do find are absolutely horrific for you, which is why I partner with Toodaloo. Toodaloo is the biggest upgrade to trail mix of all time. It's a trail mix that has more than just flavors because each and every flavor provides a different boost. So for example, right now, you notice how I'm energetic as hell? This is their hot to trot flavor, which supports energy and focus. And usually I'll snack on the hot to trot between videos to increase my focus. If I want protein, I'll eat their smoke show flavor, which contains an obscene 35 grams of plant protein per bag. Smoke show is easily my favorite flavor. I love the savory, smoky flavor that's combined with a crunch in my mouth, and it's so convenient to snack on as I'm going about my day. Each one of these trail mixes contain adaptogens to actually give you the effect that you're looking for. And right now, when you use my promo code Mikerophone, you'll get $5 off of your first purchase of Toodaloo. Or you can go to toodaloo.com/microphone for $5 off. And thank you, Toodaloo, for the sponsorship. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Following Deshaun Watson being completely acquitted from all criminal charges, the Cleveland Browns decided to make an offer that the Houston Texans couldn't refuse, and for that matter, that Deshaun Watson couldn't refuse. I mean, originally the Cleveland Browns weren't even in the race for Deshaun Watson. Watson looked at them and said that I don't want to play for you guys. But as Tyreek Hill says,
if somebody comes to you with a lot of money, it changes. It changes. The feelings start to change a little bit.
And ultimately, Deshaun Watson signed the craziest contract that I've ever seen in NFL history, a fully guaranteed 5-year, $239 million contract. And ever since then, it's been all sunshine and rainbows. I mean, for everyone but Baker Mayfield, I suppose. The Cleveland Browns had an awesome offseason. They already had a pretty good head coach in Kevin Stefanski. They have a decent running back tandem in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. They traded for Amari Cooper at the perfect time. They completely swindled my Dallas Cowboys, and they upgraded their quarterback position tremendously. Ever since then, we've only heard really positive things in regards to Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns. He started doing mini camp with his team, and we even got word that Deshaun Watson is taking the entire Browns offense on a trip to the Bahamas this weekend for on-field work and bonding. I mean, get a load of this. A world traveler, Watson contemplated taking his teammates overseas, possibly to London, but opted for a closer locale for the short jaunt, about 3 days. He chartered a private jet for the group, which quickly grew to about 30 players. Almost everyone on offense. He hoped for a turnout of at least 20, but received 27 yeses right away. A couple of players are still scrambling to get their passports in time. It includes offensive linemen as well as skill players. Watson booked a block of rooms at a luxury resort in Nassau and is footing the entire bill. The trip will feature on-field workouts each day, as well as private group breakfasts and dinners. I mean, if you're Deshaun Watson's accountant, you probably love that because this is technically a business trip. They might be wondering, Mike, It's all sunshine and rainbows, man. Why are you making this video? Well, this is where things get a little bit dark, unfortunately. And bear in mind, I'm a Deshaun Watson fan. I love what this man does on the field, not what he's being accused of. I hope he's able to play this year, and I hope the allegations that are being brought against him aren't necessarily true. But at the same time, it's my job as a commentator to be as objective as I possibly can in my analysis. So here we go. This all starts with the fact that the Cleveland Browns quarterback, Deshaun Watson, has officially began his meetings with the NFL in Texas. The NFL has been investigating Watson to determine if he violated its code of conduct. He's currently facing 22 civil lawsuits from women who have accused him of inappropriate conduct during massage sessions. 2 grand juries in Texas have declined to indict Watson on criminal charges, and Watson has denied all wrongdoing. Well, there is one really sketchy thing that he agreed to that we're going to get to in a little bit that just sounds very weird that we're going to jump into soon. So Ed Warder follows this up by saying the first direct meetings between the NFL investigative team, led by Lisa Friel, and Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson have begun in Texas. The league seeks to determine if he violated the NFL personal conduct policy, and if so, whether discipline should be imposed. Now, so far, all we know about this is, one, the NFL is very consistent with their punishments that they've handed out historically. I mean, there's players that have literally lost their entire careers due to DV altercations. At the same time, there's a player that has been suspended frequently just because he dabbles in the devil's lettuce. And that brings us to the Deshaun Watson situation. The NFL has been anything but consistent whenever it comes to giving out player punishments. We all know that. That's something that is commonly joked about in the NFL community. And in this situation, Deshaun Watson, who up until this point has denied all wrongdoing, has actually admitted to something very shady happening during one of his massages. So as you guys might know, Deshaun Watson is subject to depositions, and last week he testified in a pre-trial deposition. And in this deposition, Deshaun Watson testified that one of the most prominent masseuses in this entire case against him, Ashley Solis, actually cried at the end of the massage, according to a transcript. And Deshaun Watson admitted this. This is something that actually happened. Now, what's a mystery is what happened to get Solis to cry. So to tell you guys exactly what went down, the article goes like this. Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson admitted during a pre-trial deposition last week that one of his disputed encounters with a massage therapist ended with the woman crying, followed by an apology sent to her by text message from Watson, according to the woman's attorney. This verifies a portion of the woman's claims against him and raises the question of what caused her to cry during their encounter. In his deposition, Watson said he didn't know, and according to the attorney, Tony Busby, the woman is suing Watson for civil assault and claims in her lawsuit that Watson purposely touched her with the tip of his Johnson during the massage, causing her to feel scared and to cry. Watson would leave and then send her a text message apologizing afterward, saying, "Sorry about you feeling uncomfortable." Now, this is according to a screenshot. It is evidence. It's something that Watson fully admitted, and in the screenshot it says, "Never were the intentions. LMK if you want to work in the future. My apology." So the deposition last week was taken on behalf of the therapist Ashley Solis, the first of 22 women who publicly claimed that Watson has had misconduct during these massage sessions from early 2020 to March 2021. Now, the encounter with her came in March 30th, 2020. Busby would ask, "You know why you sent that text apology afterwards?" And then Watson would respond by saying, "Yes, because she was teary-eyed, and I was trying to figure out what was going on. So I assumed that she was uncomfortable for whatever reason. And we talked about working in the future. And so I said, we can work in the future, just let me know." And then I sent my apologies as whatever reason she was teary-eyed for. Now, Solis did not respond to Watson's text, according to the lawsuit, and Watson has other pre-trial depositions that are scheduled for June, but it's not expected to go to trial with any of these lawsuits until after February, according to a deal between the plaintiffs and defense attorneys. So far he has denied any wrongdoing, and his attorney Rusty Hardin hasn't returned a message in regards to commenting on this situation. Now, bear in mind, the civil trials have officially been moved to 2023, so we have more details on that. The 2 attorneys previously agreed to a moratorium on cases between August 1st, 2022 and March 1st, 2023, which would encompass the upcoming NFL season. Given the agreed upon moratorium, the reported inability to reach an agreement on other issues such as which suit will be heard first and the amount of discovery remaining plus Watson's scheduled depositions, the timing appears to be headed towards 2023 for the trials. So the manner of the presentation in the cases could make the trials significantly longer than expected. And if Busby introduces evidence from multiple allegations for individual proceedings, Hardin would then have the chance to respond to each allegation in a back and forth that one source said could stretch out a trial 6 to 8 weeks. Now, you might be thinking, Mike, why on earth do we care about any of this? Watson has been completely acquitted of all criminal charges, and the only way that they could come after him at this point is financially, because it's not a matter of Watson going to jail anymore. Although that might be true, league officials are going to meet with Deshaun Watson to determine what his punishment could be. And given the history of the NFL, this punishment could be anywhere from like 4 games like it was for Tom Brady deflating those footballs, which we have a video on if you guys want to check out the Deflategate controversy, all the way to an entire season, which would definitely bite the Cleveland Browns in the considering how they burned bridges with Baker Mayfield and have already committed to signing Deshaun Watson for 5 years and $230 million. Now, we got some info from Josina Anderson in regards to where the NFL is potentially going with this punishment. And if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, this doesn't sound like something that you could get optimistic over, because there are some examples that the NFL is going based off of that personally would just make me feel uncomfortable if I was a Cleveland Browns fan. So according to Josina Anderson, a league source on if the NFL issues discipline for the 2022 season with civil cases unresolved referred to Antonio Brown's 8-game suspension in 2020 for violations unrelated to Brown's pending civil dispute. An example of an initial ruling and a warning delivered, more could come later. Now, regarding the future of the situation in Cleveland, the word I keep hearing over and over again is quote unquote precedent. You have to look at every single case that touched those areas in the personal conduct policy on sexual misconduct. And that precedent is either the floor or the minimum. So pretty much they have to go through all 22 misconduct cases and determine what Deshaun Watson's punishment will be from there. And when you compare it to Antonio Brown's situation, which I'm not saying one's better than the other, but Antonio Brown didn't have 22 cases pending against him. So this gets even more insane because if you're an MLB fan, Deshaun Watson's name is coming up with a MLB player who's been suspended from baseball for 2 full seasons. And that's Trevor Bauer. The NFL source said on Trevor Bauer, look at what baseball did. If people don't think that's on people's radar, then public opinion matters. You think the NFL wants to be the organization that says sexual misconduct against women means more to one league than the other? Think about it. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't think this is going to get to a point where Deshaun Watson is going to be suspended for 2 full seasons, but I'm starting to think more and more that this isn't going to be just a simple 4-game suspension and we could all move on with our lives. I think this is going to be a little bit more intense than that because Deshaun Watson's name definitely has a stain on it as a result of this entire situation. Now, Josina Anderson brings up another point saying that from revised personal conduct policy in 2014, it issued a pursuant to Roger Goodell's authority. It's a privilege to be a part of the National Football League. Everyone who is part of the league must refrain from conduct detrimental to the integrity of and public confidence in the NFL. So just to translate that for you guys, he's pretty much saying that it's a privilege to play football for a living, especially if you're getting paid $230 million to do it. And whoever plays this game needs to understand it's a privilege, and in return, all we're asking is you don't make us look bad with the stuff that you do off of the field. Now, ultimately, I don't know where this Deshaun Watson suspension could go. It could be anything from 4 games to a full season. And the craziest part about this entire thing is the NFL isn't necessarily known for consistently giving out punishments. We can't go based off of another parameter from the past. For all you know, Deshaun Watson's suspension could be shorter than Antonio Brown's or way more severe than any punishment that we've ever seen in NFL history. So make sure you're subscribed and have my notifications on because I'm going to be keeping you guys in the loop in regards to the latest with the Deshaun Watson situation. And aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.